Duality is a very mysterious phenomenon. It is not as simple as, let's say I sit on a swing and I push myself to one end. Although I'm trying to go away, let's say I'm pushing myself towards the left. While I'm pushing to the left, although my action, my effort should be taking me away from the right, eventually it will take me to the right with the same momentum with which I pushed away from the right. While I am moving away from something, I am also creating the necessary conditions to move towards it. The same thing happens in our emotions. When we try to pursue happiness, when we chase happiness, the intensity with which we chase happiness, the momentum with which we chase happiness, the same momentum, the same intensity pushes us towards sadness. While pursuing happiness, we are also creating the conditions for sadness. But when we experience sadness, we experience it as independent of our happiness. In fact, we blame sadness, we exalt happiness, and we question, why is it that I'm feeling sad? Why is it that I'm feeling bored? Why is it that I'm upset? Why is there no peace and relaxation and joy? You are trying to choose one and reject the other. And that is going against the flow of life. That is not the way of life. Duality is the way of life. When you choose one by trying to reject the other, you can only do it out of ignorance of the duality of life. When you are unaware that your happiness is dependent on your sadness and your sadness is dependent on your happiness, that is when you will try to cling to one or the other. The ignorance of the duality of life. Why does this happen? Why can't we move towards one experience, the experiences that we like, pleasant, beautiful, relaxing, joyful, and just be there? The reason is life. The reason is we are not living in an objective, physical, fixed reality where these things exist. These things don't exist. There is no happiness, there is no joy, there is no peace, there is no relaxation. They're all coming into being because we are experiencing their opposites. Because you are experiencing disturbance, you are craving for peace. Because you are experiencing pain, you're craving for pleasure. Because you're experiencing disturbance, you are craving for relaxation. Otherwise, what is the necessity to crave for anything? Because you are life, you are at the center of life. If you understand how the mind moves, you will understand that humanity has been totally tricked by the mind. All that man has been running after has been for nothing, because he has not understood such a simple fact of life that he himself is creating his happiness and sadness. And when he is running after happiness, he is also running after sadness. He doesn't know it. When he is craving for beautiful experiences, he is also creating the fertile conditions for ugliness to emerge, for disturbance to emerge. And then he wakes up one day and he wonders, why is there so much pain in life? Why is there so much suffering in life? Because he can ask this question because he has forgotten that he's the one who's creating all this. Yes, most of it is happening in his unconsciousness. Most of it he's unaware, but it is happening inside him. He is the architect of his life. He is the one who's designing all these things. There is an interesting story that can help us understand how we create duality. Once there was a seeker named Govinda who approached a wise sage known for his deep understanding of Advaita philosophy. Govinda sought guidance on the nature of reality and the path to liberation. The sage invited Govinda to sit beside him and observe a large tree nearby. The sage asked Govinda to describe what he saw. Govinda replied, I see a tree with its branches, leaves, and roots. It provides shade, bears fruits, and has a strong trunk. The sage smiled and said, Now, close your eyes and imagine the tree disappearing from your mind. What remains? Govinda closed his eyes and contemplated. After a few moments, he responded, In the absence of the mental image of the tree, there is awareness of its absence. The sage nodded and continued. Now, Govinda, if the tree is not perceived, is it still there? Govinda pondered for a while and replied, Without perception, I cannot say with certainty whether the tree exists or not. It may exist independently of my perception. The sage gently explained, The tree, as you perceive it, exists only as a mental construct. It is a byproduct of your senses and the mind. However, the awareness that remains when the mental image is absent is the true nature of reality. It is the underlying consciousness that perceives all phenomena, including the tree. That consciousness is your true nature. Consciousness is the only non-dual part of your being. Everything else is dual. You were not searching for an experience called the absence of the tree. You did not consciously create it. But when you closed your eyes and saw the tree in your mind, the tree is there. It is occupying a physical place in reality. You know how big the tree is. You can see the branches, you can see the leaves, you can see the fruits. It's there. But when you can imagine the tree disappearing, if you don't want to see the tree, you don't have to. But even the absence of the tree is perceived by you. The tree is gone. You don't want to see the tree, but you still see the space the tree occupied. That is the nature of non-duality. You create without having any intention of creating. Such is the nature of life. You didn't want to create a tree. You only wanted to perceive it. But your perception itself created two things: the existence of the tree, which is one experience, and the non-existence of the tree, which is another experience. That is why both existence and non-existence are part of the same duality. When you perceive something to be existing and when you perceive something to be non existent, they both are totally linked to each other. Hence, it is impossible to choose one set of emotions and reject the others.